Hello, class. So, once again, Sam Hudgens, and I am going to be teaching a little bit more in InDesign today. So, a lot of you weren't there this week. I didn't hear back from a whole bunch of you, so I figured I would just put the actual lecture that I did in class here online so you guys could practice. Also, I'm just kind of getting in depth into a few things. So, what we're going to be doing is we need to create some sort of a book. Try as I might, I could not find any kind of a decent client to do this, so what we're doing is we're just making up a book. I chose to do mine on sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia, whatever it is. Basically, it's a really big long word for ice cream headache or brain freeze. All I did was I went to Wikipedia and just found something interesting that had a little bit of information, and I copied and pasted most of the information. Now, I know that some of you might be like, well, wait a second, Sam, are you copyright infringement and this and that? Yes, no, I totally admit I'm copying and pasting from the internet, but I'm not actually using this for any money. I'm using it as a class project, and that is it. Because I cannot find a client to do this full and legit, I decided just to say, throw it all out, let's just get it all done. So this one, we're going to focus on the actual technical aspects of InDesign instead of trying to find the proper, oh look, here's a client to do this or that. So, anyway, the information, you can do whatever you want. Just find a page or two of stuff you can copy from the internet. Now, this one, all I did was pretty much I have my cover page, kind of a title page, and again, I made this all up off the top of my head, Nostra Philampus, printed by Publishing House, New York. Literally just made up all that information. The pictures here either were just random pictures on my hard drive or I found Grumpy Cat. Really, it doesn't matter for this project. Oh, that I found Patrick. So anyway, this one really doesn't matter. All we're doing is we're mainly practicing. We're going to use master pages as well as paragraph styles and text styles and things like that. So anyway, as you can see up here, we have titles and things. Like even trying to click on them, they're part of the master page, and so I cannot edit them in these modes. But let's go ahead and we're going to start with a brand new document. All I did was hit Control or File, New Document, or if you want to go Command N, that would work too. Now, first of all, if you do have this in like Picas, however they say it, or other things, and you want to change those defaults, this one we did have problems in the beginnings of our class. What you need to do is close out all of your design projects. So basically, you'd go up here, close it, then go into InDesign Preferences and change your units and increments, and that will change your defaults. If you just do it with this one up, that'll change the defaults for this document, but not all overall. So anyway, let's go ahead, New Document, or Command N. And I just went with a regular page, or actually, you know what? I didn't. I went with a kind of a binding. So this one, instead of 8.5 by 11, I actually went online and I believe I just Google searched default page sizes. Default page sizes. I think it was under images. Default book page sizes. And there was one of them in here. I totally forget which one I went with, but I think it was a 6 by 9 on this one, and I can go ahead and verify that. Document setup, and yep, 6 by 9. But honestly, I'm really not that going to be that anal about what size you do. Just find something that works for you for this one. But I do want to make sure that you do have this checkbox hit, facing pages. Make sure you hit that one. The rest of it we're pretty much going to leave standard. So go ahead and hit New, and OK, and then we're here. Now, to kind of tell you where we're at, in the beginning when you're working with a blank document, InDesign is a little picky, and it's kind of hard to know where you're at and what you're editing without anything there. If I was back in this one and I was to double click up here, you'd see, oh look, I'm in master pages because that's highlighted, or look over here, I'm on that one, because there's stuff there. In the beginning when everything's blank, that one's a little bit more difficult to see. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and make a few pages right here. And I'm going to call this is going to be my title page, or book cover I should say. This is going to be my title page, and just another blank page just sitting there. And you'll notice that there's that A right there. That A is pretty significant. What it means is that my A master page is applied to it. Now again, this might be redundant, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. Your master pages are all of the defaults that are going to be put onto these pages. Now, I want to go ahead and take off that default setting for the master page. So I'm going to click and drag this over and just drag it right on top. And again, it's just this none right here. So you see what that did? It took away the A and basically reset it to none. So there's no master page applied to it. Now I could just do both these individually, or if I click and drag to like the edge right here, down there you'll see both of them will be applied. Now I'm going to go ahead and do 2 more new pages, and the same type of thing, I'm going to take the A master page and go and apply it to these. So you see it puts the A back on. Really not too difficult. But right now, let's go ahead and edit the master page so that we know what we're doing. Now if I go ahead, I'm going to hit Z and hold Alt or Option and zoom out a bit. So right here you see my spreads, and I have all these. Now what I need to do is go in and edit the master page. I can go in and double click master. Now you notice that that dark lettering jumps over to the master and all my spreads go away. That's because I'm editing the master pages right now. Now, what I did for mine is I just kind of winged it a little bit. I went in here and made a text box as big as I wanted. That's actually a little too big, so let's go back, hit the selection tool, shrink that down a bit, maybe zoom in, and it's still a little bit too big. And all I'm doing is hitting, like, hit space bar, and I'm clicking and dragging to get that. I'm hitting Z every now and then to pull up the the magnifying glass, and either zooming in by clicking or Alt Option clicking and zooming out. And that's it. Every now and then what happens like that right there, you'll accidentally click and drag a little bit, and if you notice, what it does is just zooms to the extents. So just accidentally clicking, you'll notice I zoomed right in there. You could also use Command plus and minus on your keyboard, or Command 0 will just go to the extents of everything. Again, this might be redundant for you guys, but I'm just going over it just in case. So I'm hitting V. Let's go ahead and bring that down just a bit, because I know sometimes I tend to go really fast, and so I'm going to explain everything that I'm doing. So right here we need some text, and I named my book Sphenopalatine Ganglioneurogia Hates Me. That's just kind of what I named my book. Doesn't really matter what you name it. Hates me. And that one, let's see, do I have any? Nope. I was just saying if there was any specific formatting that I wanted to get off there. So now the next one, let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Now over here you're going to notice at the very top, when I have my selection tool on, that up here it has a lot of information, a lot of different things on the toolbar, but especially right here it's just showing like anchor point and reference point and things like that. If I go and actually hit the type tool and then click on here, you'll notice now I start to get all of that information that we know and are able to use in like Word or other programs. So right here there's 2 important buttons: the character formatting controls and the paragraph formatting controls. So this one deals more with, okay, so what's the font of this, how the letters show up, all those things. And the paragraph will deal more with how are we doing our alignments with the paragraph, how are we spacing out the paragraph, things like that, drop cap, all sorts of things. So with this one, I want to go ahead and highlight all those, and I'm just going to bump this up to maybe an 18 font. That sounds good. And I also want to align this to the right hand side, but not just the right hand side. I'm going to be kind of picky about that. I actually want this one to be right here on the inside binding, and over here I want to put the author's name on this part of the binding. So if I click that, there's actually a handy button for it. Let me go right here, align towards the spine. Now you'll also notice that alignment right there will also exist over here with the paragraphs. So I'm going to go ahead and click that and align it towards the spine. Now, oops, I accidentally hit V. to do my selection tool, and that happens sometimes when I'm in text mode like that and I hit V to hit the selection tool. I'll accidentally put a V in there. Sometimes I have had clients like, why do you have V's and Z's in there? It's like, I tried to undo and select things. I apologize. So anyway, keep moving on. I'm going to go ahead and drag this over, and we're going to make another instance of this over here. Now, if I just click and drag it over, you'll notice that it just makes another copy of it. But if I click and drag it over and hold the Alt or Option key, it makes a copy of it. Now I'm going to click and drag it further. Now you can hold Shift and that will kind of lock it in place, or just work with it. Doesn't really matter. But now I have another copy that I didn't have to drag out a text box or whatever, and now I'm just ready to edit this. And let's go by, what did I call his name? Nostradamus? Nostrafalampus. And again, I'm just making this up off the top of my head. Now, one thing I want to show you is, let's go back to these pages over here. Now you see A master is black and selected. If I click this, now this one's selected. Let me zoom out a little bit. Again, I hit Z and then Alt Option. Now these are all blank, but you're starting to see a little bit of formatting in here. That's because those have the A master pages applied. So clicking back on the A master. Now we're going to put page numbers. They're really not too hard to work with. They're really rather easy. I'm going to go ahead and drag out another text box. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to reuse the text box from the top. So click that and Alt drag down, and I'm holding Shift to kind of lock it in place. Now this one, let's go ahead, take all this and hit delete. And I want to center my text. And the reason I did the extents of the entire thing is so that my text would always be centered with the page, as opposed to me just drawing out a little text box right here and maybe guessing. So let's go ahead and say page and then blank. So with that page, now we're going to go ahead and insert a special character, kind of like a placeholder type thing that is just always going to say the page number. It's really easy to get to, actually. And all you do is you go up to Type. Oops. Come on, mouse. Go to Insert Special Character and a marker. So we're kind of marking this area with a special kind of marker character, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to put in the current page number. Now, you might be looking at me like, what the hell? You know, you just put an A in there. And yes, it did put an A, but that's exactly what we wanted, because this page is an A master page. That's where it is, and so it's called the A page. So, let's go ahead and maybe do a little bit more formatting. I'm going to go space, space, and hold Shift and hit that button right above Enter. And it's called a pipe or something like that. Space, space, and then do another little pipe symbol on the other side. 1, 2, there we go. And I don't know, you can do that, maybe even do tilde marks or whatever you want to do. I mean, it really doesn't matter. So I just chose to do that. So I hit Escape to get out of that text. Now I'm going to click and drag this over, holding Alt. And there we go. I have this page as well, dragging it all the way over. Now, if I go back here, I click over here, and you're going to notice that we have our page numbers. Page 4, page 5. Now, you might also say, well, those are your title pages. Why don't we start with page 1 right here? And we will fix that in just a minute. What it has to do is with sections. Right here, where it says start of 1, we're going to have to make another section and start it right here. So we'll do that in just a little bit later. So, anyway, let's go ahead. We got that A page on there. Now, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to pull out some guidelines so that I kind of know with each of these pages round about where I want to go with them. Now, really not that hard. Hit any button, really, and you're just clicking right there on the ruler and then dragging downward. And I'm just aligning it right there with the 1-inch mark. And then on the bottom, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go, oops, click and drag it off, and then go, instead of the 11, oh, did I not do, oh well, I think I did 8.5 by 11. Doesn't really matter. So, right there. So there we go. And now, oh, and you know what? I did. Okay, so this one, you'll notice that my line goes all the way across on that one, but it only goes on that one page. It's kind of because I was zoomed in to this one page when I created it. Let me show you. So if I'm right here and I go and I click and drag out, you'll notice that it doesn't go the extent of everything, but I want to go ahead and put it on that 1-inch mark, or 10-inch I should say. Now with this one, there we go, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Now if I zoom all the way out and pull something out, you'll notice that it'll do this when you get on the outside, but when you're on a specific page, it'll jump to that page. So in an effort to kind of keep things clean, I usually just tend to leave it on the page, but really it doesn't matter. You can have them fall off into whatever you want. Really doesn't matter. So we have that. Now let's go back and we'll notice that we have those working just fine. So now let's put some content in there. We'll go back and do our title pages after a little bit. I'm going to have to break here in just a minute so that I don't get really ginormous files and get all clunky. So real quick, let's go ahead and we're going to grab our information. So literally I'm just coming up here and I'm going to click and drag down to the very bottom, copy that, and let's go over here and we're going to do a text. Hit the T for text, and we're going to go ahead and click and drag out. Oops. No, I meant text box. Let's click and drag out from that. I'll fix it in a second. So there, let's snap it right in place. And it didn't go to the very top, so I'm going to go ahead and escape to get out of that text, and then just click and drag that up. And that happens. Sometimes it's not perfect when you fully create it. So anyway, in here, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste. Nope, that didn't work. Sorry. Double click in here, and now that I have the cursor on there, I'm going ahead and paste in there, and you'll notice that everything comes in there. Now when dealing with this text, you will notice that red plus, and I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break, and I will come back and I'll explain exactly what that does, and also some of the helpful tools that you can use to create pages on your own, where this will create as many pages afterwards as you need it to. So anyway, thank you, and I will give you a link for the next video.